my next guest. You guys know how much I love him. Greatest attorney ever, the brilliant Alan Dershowitz. Alan, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hey, you're great. I can tell you I watched you on Fox. So proud of you standing up the way you did. People are going to attack you. They're going to criticize you, but you tell the truth and you say it straight.
I did. I flat out called them a terrorist, and I'd done that once before, and you'd be surprised. Even rabbis in the city were so offended. I'm like, now, don't text me now, because now I'll really bite your head off. He is what he is. He is a terrorist. I think people conflate. They think, oh, if he's a terrorist, he must be wearing an explosive vest or shooting people. No, I have a different definition. If he can change the definition of anti-Semitism and rape, my definition of terrorist is somebody who's in line with them, somebody who respects them, somebody who believes their ideology. To me, that guy's a terrorist. How about that?
Well, I would take it a step further. Anybody who knowingly says things that he should realize will encourage terrorism against Jewish civilians, such as occurred on the Upper West Side, is complicit in terrorism and has to be held responsible morally, if not legally, for the consequences of his conduct. Look, he has free speech rights to be an idiot, to be a bigot, to be a racist, to be an anti-Semite. All of those are protected by the Constitution, but it doesn't protect him from being morally accused of being complicit with terrorism and complicit with genocide, because if his policies were allowed to come into action, we would see genocide against the Jewish people. I have no doubt about that, because that's the goal of Israel's enemies, to destroy every single Jew, to make Israel Judenrein, no Jews allowed to live there, and ultimately to destroy American Jewish communities as well, as he's trying to do in New York.
Let me take this to your profession, Alan. I spoke to a young lady named Elizabeth Forspan today. She's with the Brandeis Association. She works for a very, very big law firm. It's partly hers. She wrote a letter to the mayor. It sounds like this. Get ready for this. We write as a coalition of New York City's Jewish bar associations. We are attorneys and judges who serve this city with an unwavering commitment to justice, the rule of law, and the safety of all New Yorkers. Your recent announcement, this is to the mayor, of appointees to the mayor's advisory committee on the judiciary has left us deeply disappointed. Not a single Jewish attorney, not a single former judge or legal professional was appointed to a committee your administration described as one that would be, quote, truly reflective of our city. So you got 19 people on that committee. They just recently tried to endorse Robert Leventhal for this job, and the mayor said no. 19 people, no Jews. As an attorney, Dershowitz, explain that one to me.
You can't explain it. Imagine if there were a group of 19 and it included no blacks or included no gays or included no women. Everybody would be up in arms. But Jews are fair targets these days. Jews don't have to be included. We're white, privileged, colonialist, expansionist, occupiers. We have no rights. We have no interests. We are only the people who should be attacked, according to Mamdani. But look, I point my finger not at Mamdani. He's running. Okay, I understand him. He's ambitious. I point my finger at the dumbest group of people that have ever lived in New York. The Jews of the Upper West Side, the Jews of Park Slope who voted for Mamdani. Those are the dumbest people. No, the second dumbest people. The dumbest people were the 7,000 Jews who voted for Adolf Hitler in 1932 because he promised to improve the economy. And even though he was calling for the death of the Jews and the genocide, these 7,000 Jews said, wait, we care about the economy more than we care about ourselves, so we're going to vote for them. So let's point the blame where it belongs. Mamdani would not be the mayor of this city if not for the idiot Jews of the Upper West Side, the idiot Jews of Park Slope, who put their own interests beneath those of others and voted him into office. No, those are the people who have to bear their responsibility.
And that came up on Saturday. One of the hosts, it wasn't Rachel, it may have been Charlie Hurd, said, hey, your people helped vote him, and maybe it was Rachel. And I said, listen, I said this on television Saturday, the liberal Jew, sorry, I know you were once a liberal Jew, Alan, but I love you to pieces. The liberal Jew.
I'm still a liberal.
Yeah, I know. So am I, by the way, socially. I'm all for gay marriage. I'm pro-choice. I'm all that stuff, okay? But the liberal Jew has helped destroy us as much as any terrorist. I really believe that. Sorry.
No, I completely agree with you. I would just change the word liberal to radical and woke. And the Jew who follows kind of the Marxist line. Let's remember also that when I was growing up and Israel was established, who were its strongest supporters? The communists. Russia cast the deciding vote for Israel. And the minute the Russians decided that oil was more important than principle and shifted to the Arabs, the American left shifted along with them. Automatically, knee-jerk, they turned from pro-Israel to anti-Israel, and now it's worse because Israel is the only issue that unites many of these radical leftists. Their only thing they have in common is they hate Israel, they hate Jews, they hate people like you, they hate people like me, particularly people like the two of us who are strong and are apologetic and stand up for Israel. But I have to tell you, there's some good news, too. So yesterday we had a Jewish culture conference and Martha's Vineyard, the centerpiece of anti-Israel left, and of course there were protests. There were people outside calling Israel genocide.
I'm sure Larry David was one of those guys, right?
He would have been there. He's probably too busy. But in any event, the cultural event was fantastic. My cousin, Chazan Lemmer, who's a great cantor, sang. I sang a duet with him. We sang the prayer for Israel's soldiers. Awesome. We had, almost 1,000 people eating Jewish food, singing Jewish songs, and proud Jews on Martha's Vineyard, which shocked everybody. So, I think that good people. Oh, by the way, many non-Jews came too.
Of course.
Many non-Jews to show support for the Jewish community in Martha's Vineyard because we've been under attack. Every week there are demonstrations against Israel. Some idiot refused to serve me pierogi at the farmer's market because I was wearing a shirt that said I'm a proud Zionist. But you know what happened? We got him kicked out of the farmer's market.
Good.
We got the farmer's market to issue a rule saying if you don't sell to everybody, you can't sell to anybody. So the new statement on Martha's Vineyard is, Dershowitz don't get pierogi, no one get pierogi. So
I love that.
Getting pierogi on Martha's Vineyard from this guy.
There you go.
He wouldn't sell to me.
Listen, I'm going to say this to you because, people think the internet, that's the answer. It's not. People think these low-life podcasters are low-lives. That's the answer. It's not. The majority of support in this country is still for Israel and the Jews. They don't run around town all day saying, I love the Jews. The people that hate us, they're loud, they're stupid, they're uninformed, they're hateful, and they think that, America's figured it all out. They're wrong. They're 100% wrong. I am telling you, the majority of Americans, like you said, good people, maybe even the overwhelming majority, are absolutely with Israel and the Jews. 1,000%.
Let's prove that when Bibi comes to town. Let's get together 100,000 people to greet him in Central Park or in Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza in front of the UN. Let's show Bibi and the world that New Yorkers do not support Mamdani when it comes to Israel. They support Israel.
Well, he's in town today, just not in New York. He's in D.C. Yeah. So what do you expect? Listen, he doesn't want this war to end until Hezbollah is completely wiped out, and I agree with him. I also think President Trump shouldn't want this war to end until the IRGC is wiped out. We talk about dust. We talk about the straight nonsense. Kill these bastards, or they're destined to do it again. What do you think happens between Trump and Bibi?
Well, I think first Bibi shows him intelligence that only Israel could get as to what's inside Pickaxe Mountain and why that has to be destroyed. From the air, hopefully, or at least the entrances and exits blocked.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, not to cut you off, but Pickaxe Mountain, that's where they're doing a lot of the nuclear stuff, right?
That's right. That's exactly where they're doing it. Bibi knows it. He has the charts. He has the videos. He has the data. And he has to persuade not only President Trump, mostly President Trump, but also he has to persuade the Vice President, the Secretary of State, and others. And I hope the end result is that the United States will not stop until there is literally regime change. There will never be peace in the Middle East as long as the mullahs are in control. These are the Nazis of 1932. The world made a terrible mistake, particularly France and England, by not preventively attacking Germany in 1935 when they could have destroyed them. Instead, they let them grow, and 100 million people died, including 6 million Jews. This is the opportunity to prevent that from happening. Just imagine if Iran ever developed a nuclear bomb. It would use it. It would use it, unlike other countries that have the bomb, that use them for deterrent purposes. They have to use it. It's part of their religious phenomena that they have to destroy the enemies, and the major enemies are America and Israel. And so this is the opportunity to end the warmongering a country in the Middle East that threatens everybody there. And unless they are destroyed and regime change occurs, we will never have peace in the Middle East. Never. No matter what. No matter what happens with the Palestinians, no matter what happens with the Abraham Accords, as long as Iran is there will be terrorism.
Thank you.
It's part of their philosophy.
I keep saying that on Fox News every time I get called out by Alex Jones and General Michael Flynn and Joe Kent, all these traitors that are like, oh, you want to kill our kids? No. I never said that. In fact, when they asked me this Saturday on Fox News about it, I said I would love to do it without one boot on the ground. Without one.
I agree with you completely, and I think it's doable without one American boot on the ground.
But here's what I also said. I'm not Jack Keane. I know you agree with me. I don't want to have one American die. But if it turns out that our intelligence, America and Israel, says we need some boots on the ground to finish them, then we have to do it. We got to win.
Not only that, but Israel will be the first to send in their soldiers because Israel has always said, we don't want a single drop of American blood shed on our behalf. We can do all the fighting. Just give us the green light. Just let us do it. Israel has the capacity through its own weaponry and its own airplanes to set back and possibly destroy and possibly create regime change. The only problem is the United States not only isn't doing it, they're stopping Israel from doing it. So I hope the meeting today results in a realistic assessment of how both America and Israel and President Trump himself could benefit by complete destruction of the Iranian terrorist regime. That has to be the end goal.
Agreed. Final 2 minutes. I never really talked to you about this, but Anthony Fauci is going to speak tomorrow in front of Congress, and I don't like him. I think he turned out to be a very, very bad man. I think he knows a lot more than he's told people. I think he did things and recommended things that ended up getting people hurt, killed, and stupid, to be honest. And I think he's actually one of the worst men in my lifetime. Now, he's set to speak tomorrow. Ron Johnson, who's a good friend of mine, the senator from Wisconsin, he's out there every day providing more and more information why Anthony Fauci is that bad guy. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on Anthony Fauci?
Well, you're gonna be disappointed. I remember Anthony Fauci when he grew up in Brooklyn and was a great basketball player for one of the Catholic schools.
He told me that. I know. He told me that.
In New York.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of liked him as a person. I don't know enough about the medical stuff to make a judgment about that. All I want is all the truth to come out, transparency. Let everything come out. And then, if he wants to come to the Vineyard and do a little one-on-one with me, I'm a little older than he is, but I still have a good corner jump shot. I played for Brooklyn Town Musical Academy. We played in Madison Square Garden. My opponent was a guy named Ralph Lauren. He had a different name, Ralph Lipschitz at the time.
Funny.
But those were the good old days of basketball between the Catholic schools and the Jewish schools. They mostly beat us, but occasionally I hit the winning basket against St. Francis Academy. And so, I am a much better basketball player in my imagination than I ever was, but I'm happy with my imagination.
No, me too. Trust me, I scored 18 points in one game coming off the bench against Flatbush when I went to Solomon Schechter, and I talk about myself like I'm Michael Jordan, I swear to God.
Yeah, well, I played against Flatbush Yeshiva, too.
Yeah.
And we used to beat Flatbush Yeshiva, but we loved playing against them because they had girls.
They had girls.
And
pretty
they
girls.
Had cheerleaders.
Yeah.
We in Brooklyn Town Musical Academy were all boys. So I didn't know you went to Solomon Schechter.
I did for 3 years. Yeah. You know what happened? I went to Poly Prep for 5 years, and my parents were spending a lot of money. And I wasn't doing very well. And all of my friends, their names ended in vowels. So I was becoming Italian. They go, where's your Jewish friends? I go, there's 5 Jews who go to Poly Prep. So they went the other way, and they sent me to Yeshiva for 3 years, Solomon Schechter. And I graduated from there before I went to Miami. Last one, I did text Dr. Ophir Falk with your idea. to actually greet BB at the airport when they arrived in September, and he gave me a thumbs up. So now all you got to do is call BB.
Well, let's do it. I'll try to reach him. But by the way, I was turned down at Flatbush Yeshiva because I didn't have good enough grades. I finished like 39th out of 47 in my class. I was bottom of the class.
How? You must have been smoking weed or
B minuses. And I just didn't get along with the rabbis. And then I went to Brooklyn College, and I was top of my class. Yale Law School, I was first in my class. I had to get at, like you had to get out of Poly, I had to get out of Yeshiva, and I thrived after that. But I kept my Jewishness because my friends whose names ended with Val tended to be Shapiro.
This may be your best appearance ever, you know that, Alan? And they're all great. This may be your best one.
Well, wait till you have me back and have me sing. Yesterday I sang the song, the prayer for Israeli soldiers. Mishe Beirach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak V'Yaakov Hu Yivorech Et Chayalei Tatzar Hagana Liyisrael. So when you get me back singing,
that was beautiful.
An even better show.
That was beautiful. I hear that song, I always cry. That was a very good rendition. Yeah. That was beautiful, Alan. Thank you for that. Thank you. God bless you. Have yourself a great day. I love you to pieces. We'll do it again very soon. Thank you.
We will. Thank you.
You're the best. Alan Dershowitz. That was really good, that rendition. Nice job, Alan.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?